Alright, so in a bid to try and cut down on whatever that humming sound was that was coming, that I think was coming from my microphone, I am using my headset now, because, you know, we've all got headsets and mics and everything like that, so it just makes sense. I haven't done a recording of KSP in a bit. That's chiefly because this past weekend I had a whole bunch of car troubles, and I've been trying to figure out what's going on with my Defiance. I said why it keeps crashing. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I'll probably just like do my best to kind of like soldier through it, I guess you could say. Alright, so that was weird. Just kind of crashed there. Yeah. So, alright, whatever. So I guess it's a case of I have to choose between Fraps and the game. And honestly, if I'm going to have to choose one of them to crash, I would much rather Fraps crashes than my game, because if the game crashes, then I've got to restart. If Fraps crashes, then it's just downside of the game and open it back up. Let's see what we've got here. Okay. So, I think what we're gonna do is we need to get some science from the atmosphere. Oh wait, that's right, I need to get... We're gonna do this real quick. So we're going to go ahead and do this real quick and collect some unnecessary goo science. All goo science is necessary science, by the way. See? 3. Bam. Instantly. And then recover craft. Nice. Actually, I think 21 gets us high enough to get our next set of stuff, which is survivability. I really should get survivability, shouldn't I? It would allow me to build a lander to land on the moon, so yeah, we'll get it. Besides, I'm gonna need it to get this anyway, to get my flight control. So, alright, we're down to 6. We need 45. I should be able to get to the moon, I think. You know, if my voice holds out, which apparently it seems it doesn't want to do. Oh, you know what I can do though is... Okay, so hang on, we're gonna do this real quick. I need to build a basic rocket. Well, you know what I can do? Yeah, okay, do that then. Do like this. Man, I really need solar panels or some sort of battery thing. Alright. So, we're going to need 3 goo containers. Why are we going to need 3 goo containers? Well, we're going to need 3 because one of them we're going to use in flight. One of them... So one's going to be in flight, one is going to be in orbit around the moon, and one is going to be... we reach the moon. That should be enough to get me... Man, I don't know if it'll be enough. It should, in theory, be enough to get me off the moon's surface. I mean, you don't need much to get off the moon's surface, but as for getting back to Kerbin, well, we'll see how well that works out for us. So, alright. So let's build this thing, shall we? Now, to get into space, actually, we need to build this thing kind of in the reverse. So, that's when we land on the moon. This is once we're in space and on our way to the moon. I'm not too worried about power, like electricity power, right now, for the simple reason, and I really could use that gimbal. Really use that gimbal, man, but it comes at the cost of 15 meters per second of thrust. It should be able to turn in space really quickly about that. So, okay, so that's where we're in space. Yeah, I'm not worried about electrical power right now because as long as I have somebody actually inside the capsule, they can, like, flick switches and shut things off and turn things back on again and get everything working again, even if I don't have any electricity, so that's fine. And then once I turn the engines on, actually, does this thing generate electricity? I really should check that out. Uh-oh. It does not. Well, that's no good, then, is it? Because I'm really gonna need that thing to generate electricity. I still don't have my fuel line, yeah. Guess I have to go without it. Alright, so raise that up. So this, we're definitely going to need the more powerful engine. And then some decouplers. Some of these nice lovely things. We're actually going to put 4 on here because I have a sneaking suspicion that what's going to happen, what I want to happen, are going to be 2 completely different things. Why? Because they almost always are. I don't know if that one tank will have enough fuel in it to get me the rest of the way into space. In theory, it should. But, well, unfortunately, that's all this is. It's just a theory. So that's going to need to come down there, separate. Let that continue firing until that's run out. Separate. Fire that, and that should get me into space. So worst case scenario, we should still make it into space and be able to get in orbit and get our happy butts to the moon. So we can identify it once we're in space. And we name it the Mark 1, just in case it explodes horribly and kills us. You know, just throwing that lovely image out there. Alright. Nothing left to do now, but I'm telling you, man, those frame rates. Nothing left to do now but grab ass and go for it. It flies. It looks a bit weird, but it does indeed fly. And if you're wondering why I put those decouplers way up here, it's because you probably noticed how those tanks tried to shift off to the side a bit. Yeah, like you can see how that one's kind of like pushing up like that. That's why I put those decouplers way up there, was so that way when it did that, it wouldn't bend in and blow stuff up like it has a natural tendency to do. Fuel is draining. I am not worried about surface. I'm more worried about that. But that needs to be very, very high in order for this to work. I'm also worried about, well, actually, I am worried about storage space, because, yeah. This is going to take a while. I'm obviously going to accelerate through some of the more boring bits. But, you know, not bad, not bad. I definitely want to wait till those engines burn out, because when those things jettison off, they're going to jettison off pretty violently, and I don't want any of them to crashing back into... Okay, well, you know what? Heck that. See, and that's exactly what happens. You go to do a turn, and instead of turning like it's supposed to... There we go. Come on. Get yourself back up. Good. Alright. It's not perfect, but, well, it'll suffice. Oh, dagnabbit. And that's another thing I like, too. Is I can actually shift this around even while I'm in flight. And I think I can only do that because the guy's in there, but I haven't actually tested that theory, so... There we go. And this stage is solely for the purposes of getting me... Ooh. Well, there, to be exact, really. Alright, zoom out. So what am I going to need? 15. What do I have? 3,000. So yeah, we are good on the Delta V. We should have more than enough to do this maneuver and get ourselves on point to the moon. Oops, stopped a little bit too short. A little short there. So yeah, like I said, I had some serious car trouble. I had to end up... Well, what I thought was going to be a simple piston swap turned out to be... The truth of the matter is, a broken piston, literally, and this is not an exaggeration, literally saved the block on my car. If it hadn't gone out, I never would have torn the car apart, and I never would have figured out that one of my rod bearings was starting to go. I mean, like, literally, the bearing took the brunt of the damage. So, like, the rod is okay, but I ordered new rods anyway, because I'm like, I already ordered the new piston, so I figured, hey, alright, rod away. So I figured, what the hey, right? And, yeah, if it wasn't for that blown piston, I never would have got the pistons, I never would have torn the engine apart, never would have realized that the rod bearing was starting to go out, and that's what was causing the knocking sound on my car. It seemed so weird, because it's like, I know what a rod bearing going out sounds like. I mean, I've heard it before. I mean, I've had cars that had them go out on me before. And, this one it didn't make the same sound. It was much quieter, and it seemed to go away at about 3,000 RPM, which for my car is about 60 miles an hour. 60 to 65, somewhere in that general range. So, you know, when I was on the highway, and I take the highway mostly for work, and I mean, yeah, it was just like whisper quiet when I got onto the highway. Well, not really whisper quiet, but I mean, quiet. And, yeah, so I end up making a run out to the salvage yard. 100, man. Oh, that's so good. Perfect. Okay. So that's fine. But yeah, I end up having to make a run out to the emergency run out to the salvage yard. I yanked some pistons out of another car because I was like, well, if I'm gonna need them, I'm gonna need them. You know, so I pulled them out, and yeah, swapped them back into my car, and it's up and running again for the time being. This weekend, if everything comes in like I hope it will, I'm gonna swap them back out again. Well, see, the good news is, I've got way more than enough Delta V to cover that. But I want to be going in this direction. If I go like that, where it grabs me and arches me behind it, that's really going to kind of stink. Because, I mean, that's going to take a lot of effort just to get back into a normal plane. What's that? 900? See, and I've always had a problem with this in this game. I can never seem to get, like, I mean, you see, like, some other videos, like, some other people's videos, like, there's a guy, Scott Manley. Yeah, he actually has, like, some fantastic Kerbal videos, but all his stuff looks, like, gorgeous, you know? But, you know, I'm sure he spends hours and hours and hours editing stuff to make it look gorgeous. You know, whereas my stuff comes out looking like this, you know? Just like I threw together an orbit, just like, hey, forget about it, just go ahead and go. It's 900 again. And I mean, I cannot get that any closer. That's gonna have to do. It's just gonna have to do. So. Alright. We'll time accelerate through all this. And, yeah, we'll time accelerate through all of this and go from there. I mean, it's only like 20 minutes, and I'm high enough up, or almost high enough up. Where am I at right now? Well, damn it. Can't see what my current altitude is, not from this view anyway. So we're down to 6 minutes. Where are we at? There we go. So now I can time accelerate a little bit faster, but I'm down to 6 minutes, so I need to be real careful because it's only going to take 30 seconds, it says. Alright. So get this thing pointed in the right direction, which I actually have the enhanced nav ball on, which I don't know if that's going to conflict with the developers who have decided that, you know, it was a good idea to go ahead and add the advanced nav ball to the stock game because it's really something was desperately needed. Because, yeah, this thing just... Okay. And yeah, as you can see, my electric charge right here is, like, slowly dying on me. So, now the one thing I will say I would really like to have... Speaking of which, I can see something. Uh-oh. See, yeah, this right here is going to be a bit of a problem. That 425 meters per second. Because see, right now it's going to take me 841 meters per second to get to the moon. It's going to take roughly about that to get back. Yeah. And of course I forgot to get the science while I was flying through the air with the greatest of ease. So, oops. But I can get that on the way back, if I make it back. Oy. Ah. That's dead. Oh, okay. We should be fine then. I'll have to go back and destroy that debris later. And yes, I do destroy debris for anybody who has played Kerbal Space Program and says that destroying debris in space is cheating. I will destroy the debris. I'll do it. Like, without a shadow of doubt, moment of hesitation, I'll do it. I'll take it out. I can get rid of that node because I just need to know where to point it, so... What I'm going to do is I'm going to try my best to kind of fine-tune my approach to something a little more reasonable. Which most likely what I should do is I should just wait, shouldn't I? Yeah, I really should. So what we'll do is we'll flip around here. And basically all the advanced nav ball does is just add those little ghost images there, so you can kind of see where you're supposed to be pointing. There we go. Alright. Most likely I should point the other direction, but we'll kill all the power and just let this thing drift off into space. Now this, I'm not going to lie to you, is going to be a really awesome view, okay? So you see the planet here, right? This is what I love absolutely most about the game. So we're going to time accelerate. And just watch as the planet gets smaller and smaller. And like, bear in mind that we just launched from there. So, you know, that's pretty awesome. You know, and we're heading there. So yeah, just watch as it just slowly drifts off. That is cool. Really, really, really cool. Actually, tell you the truth, that's more important than anything. So as one gets bigger, the other one gets smaller. You know what I just realized? I think I have RCS thrusters back at base. Oh, that would have made life so much simpler. I should have well more than enough. I need to make sure I have at least 800 meters per second of delta V to make the trip back home. But while I'm here in what would be considered deep space... wait. Examine the goo. 10 science. Alright, and I'm not going to read all those little messages that it pops up because they're kind of corny and I don't have the enhanced message thing, so... But yeah, I love that. I love the idea that I can just sit there in time acceleration and watch as this, like, my ship is now the same size, nearly the same size as the planet I just left. That's so awesome. I mean, obviously, it's not the same size, but visually and all that blah blah blah. So, oh yeah. Now, in theory, this should go fairly well because this is the first time I've actually recorded myself trying to land on the moon, and by that token, everything should go smoothly because I'm actually recording this time, and everything goes horribly, horribly wrong when I'm not recording. But I am seriously not afraid to use... Okay. I am seriously not afraid to use my restart key. Alright, so let's see if we can't... narrow that down a bit. I mean, I know I'm kind of burning through my delta V here, but I would really like a periapse that's, you know, less than 10 million. You know, just saying. Aha. Yeah, you see, and that's the issue there. So, here, we'll spin this thing back around again. So yeah, just watch it burn through that battery voltage there. So, because I need to make sure I come in. That's... dang it. So many maneuvers here, and all this just... So I'm going to need some of this fuel to land on them to actually make the landing, so... There we go. Much better. So we'll time accelerate. So yeah, why do you keep doing that? See, I think time acceleration is playing havoc with it too. So we'll push that out a little bit. I mean, I know that's 800 meters per second, 800 meters up. But honestly, I just need to get that capture. If I can get the capture... See, you know what's happened here, right? Like, I mean, it's obvious to everybody what's going on. I opened my big fat mouth, and now I'm paying for it. Oh, you're so close. You know you want to capture it. You know you want to. You want to do it. You can do it. Remember your buddy the train. See, and that's another thing too, is this game can be very, very finicky at times. Like, I mean, if you don't do things just so... Right there, you're right on top of that capture. You know you are. Yes! Got it. Now comes the problem. Okay, so what I need to do, now we're going to exit this out. First things first, I need to make sure I'm going like I want to. Yes. So when I go to burn retrograde now, I can slowly bring that down. So we'll kick this all the way up to full throttle, which I know only gives me 2 minutes. Okay. Highly eccentric orbit, but you know, what am I gonna need? 100? 135. Oh, that's gonna be so fantastic. Good. Good. Unfortunately, if you notice here, bam, electric charge is down to 13. But it should be okay, because like I said, we got the Kerbal in there, so he should be able to keep us alive and flying. Not, well, yeah. Alright. And since it's going to take an hour to get to that node, we'll do a bit of time acceleration, in-game of course, because we can never be 100% certain things will not explode. Now I know that's still very high, 700 and 700, but right now I just want to get this thing into an orbit. I can trim it up later. I can trim it up once we're there. Like I said, all I need, it said 30 seconds was what it required the last time. So if we estimate about a minute burn, that should get us back to Kerbin fairly safely. With a tiny bit of fuel left to spare to get us an actual But, as you probably figured out, I'm not one for fuel savings, so... Alright, so we'll X that out. Those two are going to flip on me, which is going to be fine, because I need that to come as far down as there. Bam. Which actually, in theory, I could go for like a just straight shot in, but I'm gonna really want to slow down, because, yeah, 129.2 meters per second. pretty quick. So we'll add a maneuver node, bring that down. Another 100. Okay, so we should be good. And then I have no idea what it's going to take for me to land this thing, but we'll find out. Now, of course, you may notice that that's pointing prograde. That's not a problem, because as this ship flips over on itself, that eventually will point retrograde, so all's well that should, in theory, end well. So we'll burn through that hour. See, that's another thing too. I've got to be really careful about that time acceleration, man. I've done it. I've like just totally slingshot it straight past orbit sometimes. Kick it up a little bit. Alright. Throttle up. Now, if you're wondering where it gets that delta V... Oh no. Alright. If you're wondering where it gets that delta V from, it's coming from the amount of fuel that I have left in relation to the power of the engine. So, the more powerful the engine, the more fuel it uses, but I still have a fairly high delta V because of the engine's power. So, it's a relationship between fuel and power, and because I've got this tiny little engine here as my power source, as my thrust, you know, I don't have a very high amount of delta V, but because I have a whole bunch of fuel, it's enough to get me where I need to, well, not need, but want to be at the very least. So, alright. We are in a generally stable orbit. Tell you what, man, I really cannot talk today. So what would it take for me to circularize this? Ouch! I'm thinking no. So what we're going to do is we're going to shoot for a landing here. I want to try and make this landing about as vertical as possible. Chiefly because where it's going to cost me quite a bit of delta V here, getting back up and getting to Kerbin is going to cost me less delta V, or at least it should in theory. I'm sure a whole bunch of rocket scientists are going to be screaming at me going, no, 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 you complete moron. I don't care. If you have a problem with the way I do this, play the game yourself. Alright, we got 5 minutes to know. That's going to take... We can... Oops. Not that way. Bump that out. See, what kind of landing would I get? Yeah, see, that's going to have me skirting across the ground quite a bit here. So, I'm thinking... something like that. At about 250 meters. We don't have a choice. Alright, we'll do 300, because 300 is going to really hurt. Okay, so, thank you, quick saves. So, I'm actually going to have to go ahead and change that activation number from Fraps. Because, yeah, that's going to be a problem with this game. So, we're going to try this yet again, only this time we're going to do it successfully. So bring it in, kill our horizontal speed. We're going to go ahead and just like demolish this now. That should bring us down very near. It's the question of that vertical speed that's going to be the issue. So we'll get it down to about 25 meters a second. There. At that point, we should arrest most of that by the time we get very near to the ground. Okay, pull up my window here again. We start burning downwards to kind of slow ourselves a bit, but what I need to do is I need to keep a close eye on when that counter really starts to move downwards. So, no there. So, we're actually going to rest quite a lot of that. Start our burn here. I just need to really follow that ball. More power! When in doubt, add more power. Seriously though. Okay. So I need to make sure this thing's still coming down, but doesn't come down so fast that it kills me. So we're slowing. Landing gears down. So you see right there, it's trying to pick up speed. So it's in between those two bars there. So let this thing get down some more. I said, all I'm really worried about fuel-wise is so long as I have at least 800 left in this. So let this thing pull us down some more. We can get rid of that fairly quickly. Yes! Successful landing. So we're gonna go ahead and edit out that last video. That doesn't exist anymore. Bam! Ah, yes. And to a beautiful Kerbin sun sunrise. Or set. I don't actually know which way this thing is rotating. And it does rotate, by the way. So, like, you'll notice my orbital speed is 9.2 meters a second. Although, technically I'm sitting still, the whole thing is moving, so... we made it. And we should have plenty of fuel left. So, unfortunately, we're probably going to run out of electric charge. So we'll kill that. Just sit here and bask in the sun's warm, glowing, warming glow. That's a Simpsons reference. So,
okay. So, yeah, I've got a lot of videos I'm going to have to delete. Yeah. There we go. Bit of a sidestep there. So, surface sample. Fantastic. EVA report, even better. Plant the flag. What's it gonna say? Yeah, that's right, I cheated. You know what? For those people, that's not fair. Well, here's the thing. Life's not always fair. It's a lesson I've learned unfortunately, all too well. So, we've got that. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to make a habit of cheating, but in this one situation, everything just went so horribly wrong that, well, you know what? Cheating was fair game. Or at least it was in my opinion. Basically, if you're wondering how I cheated, well, I'll upload the videos of everything that went wrong, and I just basically turned on the no crash damage and on infinite fuel. So we're going home. We are going to get this thing back to Kerbin, whether it wants to go or not. You'll also notice that one of my landing gears is messed up, and well, that's because of the cheating thing that I was talking about a minute ago. Alright, so we'll point this thing roughly, I said roughly, at Kerbin there, because I want to kind of be in the same. So like when I retract the landing gear, you'll notice that one doesn't go up, but that's okay. You'll also notice that I still have control, even despite the fact that go up. Even despite the fact that I have no electricity, and you'll note my fuel is not going down. Like I said, I have infinite fuel on right now. I'm cheating to get this thing back to where I want it to be. And there. Which is, for the most part, there. Once that's done, then I'll set the cheats back off. I'm not going to, you know, cheat through the whole thing. I'm just going to cheat through a good chunk of it. Okay, well, that's close enough. It doesn't need to be perfect. I've got plenty of fuel. But I need this to get the solar panels, and you know what? I was already here. I had the science. I just have to get it back. So, you know, gripe, complain, and all that stuff. But, you know, this is me. This is who I am. I'm a cheater. I will cheat when it's necessary. I often don't, or, you know, unless I just want to be a god in a video game and just, like, totally and completely desecrate everything around me, which is fun sometimes, you know? I mean, you've had a hard day at work, you know, you can't backtalk your boss, you know, the people that live with you, you can't say nothing bad about them. So, you know, you get into a video game and you just, like, yeah, it's fun sometimes to cheat. It's awesome sometimes to be, or at least to feel, at least in a video game, that you are as awesome as you know you are. You know? It's nice to see that sometimes. Well, totally missed that, but that's okay. It's not like I've got to worry about the fuel. So we're gonna go here. And stop. Okay. So, highly eccentric orbit, but that's fine. No, I don't want to focus on Kerbin. See, the thing is, what I don't like is that it doesn't always give me the option to target a specific, like, I can target the moon. Alright, so like I can set the moon as a target, but I can't set Kerbin as a target, which is kind of weird. But whatever. So we're at a maneuver node here. No, I said here. That one goes away. This is the one that I want. Thank you very much. I needed to do... No, I needed to do that. Well... That's just getting worse and worse and worse, isn't it? Alright. No. Come on. See, it's that fine-tuning, man. Bam, there. That's what I wanted you to do. Thank you. So, is there any point in this range whatsoever that I might actually encounter Kerbin? I'm going to say no. Because of how eccentric this thing is. Ugh. Okay. We'll have to settle for that, Dan. We'll settle for that and, time accelerate. Till we are in the desired location. See what I mean about that time acceleration, man? You gotta be really careful. Because once it gets above a certain point, man, this thing just, like, woo. So it's saying a 9-second burn, which should be about right. But, like I said, it's not like I don't have the fuel in order to make all of this stuff work. This is a very bad way of doing things, by the way. Like, this is awful, but I have to cheat in order to get back home, so... Snap, thank you. Now this, fortunately, I don't have to even add a maneuver node for. I can just... spin around. Point retro... well, yeah, retrograde. But I mean, as you can see, like, I could put a satellite into orbit. Nope. I could put like a satellite or a space station or something way the heck up here. And then, I mean, I could do that for like everything, you know? Oh, it's on. Alright, come on, come on, come on, come on. Now, here's the thing. I could probably set this to about there, and I'd probably slingshot right back out of the atmosphere. Well, probably not, but I get really damn close, you know? I'm sure I would. So, now for possibly the most awesome view ever. Okay, so, you watching? There's the planet. I said, not only can you see it spinning from this distance... Oh, dang it, I hate when it does that. Whenever you go over a pole... Where's the dang planet at? There's the moon. There it is. Whenever you go past a pole, it... You really gotta watch out for that stuff, man. Just look at that, dude. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. That's so awesome. You know, we might shove that. Ooh, wow. That's way down into the planet's surface, isn't it? That's actually not a good thing. We need to bring that up a bit, I think. Yeah, ignore what this is saying right now. I'm doing this because right now I'm going to collide with the planet. And I kind of need to not do that. In fact, we'll actually aim outward a bit more. There we go. That'll probably pull that back in a bit too. See, I really don't want to like smack straight into the planet. See, this is one of those things you got to be really careful about. Look at that, 22 years until I reach my Apple apps again. 22 years. That's because it's way out there. But what I'm more interested in is that. I want to try and put this at about there-ish. Yeah, so that's good. And I'm actually going to keep this on until, keep like this whole section together until I know for certain that I'm not going to smack into the planet. which it doesn't look like I will. Zoom back in here. It looks as it... Dang it. Thank you. Looks as if, yeah, we should be okay. We should be alright. But I might need to actually, you know, deburn a bit. Just a skosh to bring that apoapse back into something reasonable. Yeah, I was gonna just collide with the planet at a speed that was totally and completely unsafe. That if I didn't have the no crash damage on, because that's what I have turned on right now, yeah, I would probably explode. Actually, no, there's no real way of saying it. No, I would definitely explode. So, alright. I'm gonna time accelerate through this. Okay, well, I accidentally shut Fraps off. That was completely and totally my fault. It didn't like crash or anything like that. Yeah, this is gonna be really awesome. I mean, we are going to be entering the atmosphere at over 4,000 meters per second. Only problem is, I think the flame effects... Yep. Dang it. The flame effects are only going to take effect after... We are most definitely going to escape this. But hopefully I can bring it back in for a second rotate, for a second run, and... As I don't get me wrong, with the unlimited fuel on, with the infinite fuel, I can get this thing back to Kerbin. It will go back, whether it wants to or not. The only problem is going to be... There we go. How long it's going to take. But... that's actually not even going to be a problem. I mean, I could literally make this thing go the complete opposite direction right now. Oh, that's it. I really did want to skim through the atmosphere at like 4,000 meters per second. I mean, the flames on this thing would have been, and I really hate the word, but I have no choice but to use it, epic. Like, that would have truly been epic. Ooh. You know what? We could do that, can't we? Yeah, we can totally do that. I mean, this thing is going to pick up speed as it goes back around. And although it's not 4,000 meters per second, you will at least be like... probably getting on for 2, damn near. Because there goes the speed change there. So yeah, it's going to pick right back up again, and... Alright, we should be able to land it this time, I think. So, once the time acceleration stops on its own, because it always does, there, we'll jettison off. Shut that down. Which actually, that was a very nice jettison. That just went straight down towards the ground, didn't it? Lovely, lovely. I really could have done this so much better, but I didn't. So, yeah. You know, well, what do you want me to say? When it comes to rocket science, unfortunately, I'm not as smart as I would like to be. But yet, still smarter than most. That's just me being arrogant. I'm sorry, I apologize. It's true, but, you know, I still apologize for it. I love that. Horizontal speed, look at that. 2,000 meters per second. That's awesome. So we should get some pretty decent flame effects from this. That thing, however, I'm actually surprised that's not getting the flame effects just yet. Yeah, and you should be able to see that even from this distance. Like, I mean, some of this stuff, I mean, when it's just catapulting through the air, yeah. There we go. Impact biome is water. Aww. I was hoping it would be a lot brighter than that. I mean, it does seem to be picking up a tiny, tiny bit. Uh-oh. That could potentially be an issue. It shouldn't have burned out my shield. My parachute. There should be no reason why it would have burned out my parachute. But if it burned out the parachute, then I have the no crash damage on, so... Speaking of which, that could cause a bit of an issue with that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let this thing get itself nice and slowed down. Okay, good. It didn't burn out my parachute. So, you're not allowed to see this. Okay, so I had to shut the cheats off. And you weren't allowed to see that because, you know, that's not for virgin eyes. I spare you some of the injustice in this world. Only some of it. At the very least, until you're old enough to deal with it, which few people are ever old enough to deal with the injustice in this world. But the good news is this. He's back. He's alive, which, you know, it's Jeb. So, I'm going to be honest with you. If it was Bill, I'd be like, man, Bill, you cheated. You know, Bill can't cheat to get back. Jebediah, yeah, Jebediah can do anything. So, you know, that he somehow managed to land a craft without crashing it, you know, into the moon surface at like 20 or 30 meters per second and, you know, got back with seemingly unlimited fuel. Yeah, that's perfectly fine for Jebediah. Because, I mean, you know, he pretty much built the entire Space Center by himself. He pretty much is the entire Kerbal Space Program. I mean, anyone who's played this game will tell you, like, if you look through the parts list, half of the stuff in the parts list has his name on it. You know, granted, most of it he found lying by the side of the road, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. It was his brilliance and genius that made all of this possible. So you know what? We applaud you, Jebediah. You and all of the hard work that you have done. Now, of course, Bill is in charge of the airplane side, but, you know, whatever. Recover the vehicle. Let's see what we got here. A whopping 182 science. Thank you. No parts recovered, because, you know, they all went careening into the ground. Oops. I believe... Nope, that's the flag. Yes, I got some debris around here somewhere. Now, normally I'd be like, cool, I could fly this, but I don't have anything on here to control this with, so, you know, I can't do anything. So, we'll just have to detonate it. It is, unfortunately, a casualty of war. So, back to the Space Center. Debris. Terminate the debris. We are sorry to see you go. Wait. Does that still show 1? The flag I know, but... Oh, wait. It's not showing any of my unknown objects. Okay. So get rid of the flag. It's still showing 1 debris, though. It's a very interesting... See, these are all the unknown objects, so... This is what it's picking up as for the unknown stuff, but... It's fine. Alright, that's weird. I don't know why it's still showing 1. So, off to the Space Center. Where we will procure for ourselves, not the batteries... Oh, decisions. Actually, we do need to get the batteries, don't we? I need that and that. Because, specifically this one, because it's going to net me the solar panels, which I need. Which I'm going to need. Oh, yeah, my landing gears. Oh, curse you. That's okay. We'll get that. Do we have 90? We've got 90. We have solar panels. No more electrical problems. Yes. Yes. Oh. Okay. Oh, so that takes care of all of our electrical issues right there. Bam. Instantly done. Now I can send missions to the moon and not have to worry about running out of electricity. So I can use that little rocket engine and I can set everything down and everything will still work now properly like it was supposed to originally. But I have Jebediah, so if everything goes catastrophically wrong like it usually does, well, then we can use Jeb, and Jeb will always get us home. So that's pretty much all I wanted to do in this recording, was just get him back. Let's see here. New probe bodies. Now here's the crazy thing, right? Like, that's only like $300, but it's like, it doesn't give you that first. Like, I mean, you've got to start off with this huge capsule. Like, I only find that weird because it's like, you have to start with the capsule first. And like, you have no choice but to send people out into space long before you send a probe. Like, somehow that makes sense. I don't know. So, but we've got reaction control wheels now. I don't actually have the RCS ports like I thought I did, so that's kind of bad. I'm really gonna need that RCS. Speaking of RCS, how much science do I need to get the RCS? Which begs the interesting question of where is the RCS? It is obviously not going to be in any of this stuff, is it? More science. There it is. Oh, yeah. I need 90. So, another 87.2 science. Okay, we could do that. That's easy. We'll just send somebody back to the moon. So, sayonara.